Gaurav Sawant, he joins us this morning from the Bharat Mandapam. Gaurav, give our viewers a sense of the bilaterals that will take place today. Rishi Sunak and the Prime Minister will be meeting, a total of 15 plus bilaterals. And while we were walking around the Bharat Mandapam, I noticed how they had these small rooms which had been set up all across the Bharat Mandapam, where you could just casually do your pull-asides, your meetings, and all those facilities will come into use today, Gaurav.
They indeed would, Rahul. So 9:30 this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi starts receiving all the heads of state and government, 9:20 to be precise, and then till 10 this process continues. Remember, there are 20 heads of state and government, G20 members, United Nations Secretary General, other organizations, other member countries, other special invitees, 9 special invitees. So in all, 41 heads of state, governments and organizations will be here. So that process takes about 40 minutes. Then the first session starts, which continues till about 1:30 in the afternoon. The special rooms that you were talking about for a series of pull-asides, the moment the first session is over, they then either break for lunch or have these one-on-ones. They have their other bilaterals that will take place. Post-lunch, there is the second set of meetings that will take place, which continues till about 5:30 in the evening. Then again, another set of meetings, pull-asides. There's also a chaat, papri, street food, get-together that is organized. And subsequently, this evening would be the President's Gala dinner, once again at the Mandapam, where apart from all the heads of states and governments and invitees, there are also chief ministers and other political leaders who will be here. Rahul, if I may, the point that Rajdeep was making about participation of people, there is, in fact, there is a special aspect to G20 through the year. So when you had these 200 plus meetings in 60 plus cities, you also had Jan Bhagidari, and Jan Bhagidari was people participation in G20. That is where India's entire effort has been to democratize G20 and not just this be a talk shop of the most powerful economies of the world, 20 most powerful economies. It is actually hear the voices of the people, hear the voices of the impacted parties, and then the heads of government and states, they make up their minds on what needs to be done forward. India hopes to be, Rahul, Rajdeep and Shiv, the bridge between the developed world and the developing world. That's India's principal effort here.
Well, this is one of the big ideas at play. When differences between the West and the East are getting more pronounced, the fractures between China and the United States, India emerging as the bridge between the North and the South, as a voice of the global South. And make no mistake, one of the reasons why China hasn't been quite as obstructionist is because some of India's agenda points, and Paulami Saha can talk us through those, were actually points which very strongly related to the interests of countries in Africa, the interests of countries in Asia, and therefore for China to be seen as obstructionist would have dampened their projection as a player on the global stage, Paulami.
That's right. Speaking of Africa, that has been one of the focal points as far as India's G20 presidency is concerned. Right after taking over the presidency in December 2022, the Prime Minister and India hosted the Voice of the Global South Summit in January. 125 countries participated. And then, of course, the idea to make African Union a permanent member of the G20 was mooted as well. The African Union, of course, comprising of 55 nations, and Comoros is here as well. The Comorian president is here as well. There will be a bilateral with him tomorrow. So clearly, India has placed a lot of focus on the inclusion of the African Union as a permanent member. It has received support from the United States, and China too has said that it supports it. The European Union and European countries have not, said that they don't support it. They've extended their support as well. So in terms of one of the big takeaways that could emerge from, in fact, this Leaders Summit is possibly the joining of the African Union as a permanent member, though, of course, officially that will only be learnt tomorrow.